What's up folks, it's Uranus, we're in Brussels, welcome to another video. So currently I am in my 130th month of testosterone replacement therapy. Pretty much almost 11 years of 125 milligrams of testosterone per week. But what if you just joined the club now, or you're thinking about hopping on your own testosterone replacement therapy journey? What is to be expected in the first 3 months of treatment? By the way, none of what I'm about to say is medical advice. I'm just sharing my own opinion and I'm trying to help people that are starting their own TRT journey. Alright, c'est parti. What is to be expected in the first 3 months? So the first 3 months, pretty much it depends on how long have you been living with low testosterone and how severe your deficiency was. Me personally, when I started at almost 26 years old, I had total testosterone levels of 80 nanograms per deciliter. For people that don't know, it pretty much doesn't get much lower than 80 nanograms per deciliter. My testicles had never really produced any testosterone, so basically as soon as I put the needle in my ass was also the time when I started puberty. So in the first 3 months my voice dropped significantly, I had spontaneous erections for the first time, I actually had just erections for the first time, my genitals grew in size, I started to have pubic hair, I started to have facial hair, I gained a lot of muscle mass and my body posture changed. Mentally, for me, pretty much I was all over the place like any teenager would have been. One second I was depressed, the other second I was like a horny dog. I can't say I had a lot more mental clarity because I was jerking off all the time and researching weird things on the internet, what you probably do during puberty. Now socially I pretty much went from a loner to more and more talking to other people in the first 3 months. This of course is quite a unique case, and for 99.9% of people starting testosterone replacement therapy it will be less dramatic. The changes will be subtle and take time. You have to be patient. Some people online seem to think it's like a switch, and mostly it isn't. Of course, it all depends on how long you have lived with low testosterone and how severe that deficiency was. Sometimes in the testosterone subs on Reddit, I see people in their 30s starting testosterone replacement therapy with mid-range testosterone levels. And I'm not judging, you know, I love living with high testosterone, but of course the changes are going to be less dramatic then. What you can expect in the first weeks, where your hormones will still be fluctuating, is a slightly elevated general mood uplift, better energy and an increase in libido. Your body still needs to adjust. Morning wood, a very healthy sign of good testosterone levels, start to come back. And God knows how much I love to wake up with my cock in the air. After about a month, you should start to notice better recovery from exercise, a bit more strength and endurance in the gym, consistently higher libido than before, better sleep, a bit less brain fog, your mind might be a little bit better than before after a month, and generally after a month is about that time where you start to feel better in your own skin, like your good old or young self, if I must say. After 2 to 3 months, it's all about consistency. Energy, mood and libido should be high, consistently high and better all the freaking time. You should definitely notice an increase in muscle mass and strength. Gains in the gym will be there, and enjoy them, because gains on TRT, normal TRT, do not stay there indefinitely. You will not keep on making gains on TRT, so enjoy your first gains. After 3 months, that's pretty much where the first signs of body recomposition start to appear. If you started testosterone replacement therapy, why is my phone going limp? Thank you. Well, that is, yeah, my phone has erectile dysfunction. Great. So, as I was saying, after 3 months, that's the time where it should be easier to lose fat and to keep that fat off. If you started testosterone replacement therapy being overweight and you started to cut at the same time after the 3 months mark, that's where the before and after pictures really start to be noticeable. Again, this is all provided that you were living with clinically low testosterone levels before. Now, the mental clarity part for me will only be achieved once you are fully dialed in. You might have to adjust your dosages, sometimes a bit too high, sometimes a bit too low. Some people feel better with higher estrogen, others need an AI regardless of their testosterone dosage. You have to find that sweet spot and get dialed in for yourself. You have to avoid highs and lows. Finding the sweet spot on TRT, actual real TRT, is the most important thing. Now, of course, you're going to have to find a good endocrinologist for this. The goal is not to be a human roller coaster of emotions and bipolarism, you know, so you have to get tested regularly and adjust if necessary, and have a doctor that works with numbers and not just that works with symptoms and not just numbers on a piece of paper. There is one thing you have to take into consideration. It is that the first weeks that you start testosterone replacement therapy, your testosterone levels might be a little bit higher than you might think, because you still have your own production or what is left of it. If you have low testosterone, let's say you are 350 nanograms per deciliter, and you add testosterone in the first weeks, it's going to be on top of that, because your own production is not completely shut down yet. So after a couple of weeks, that production will be shut down. You will no longer produce your own, and you're relying on the TRT completely. That's why that dial-in period is super important, and regular blood work and patience are important too. Also, one of the negatives that you can experience is in the first 3 months, and maybe a bit afterwards too, is that you can experience testosterone shrinkage. What am I saying? Testicular shrinkage. Your balls can shrink on testosterone because they are no longer producing any testosterone because you are injecting it into yourself. Now, for some guys, it's worse than for others. Me personally, I've never really cared about the size of my testicles. I just like when the thing in the middle is fully functional and working. Just remember, TRT is not a magical pill, but for most people, after the first 3 months, that's where things start to click. If you're on TRT, please share in the comments how your first 3 months went. I'm really curious about that. Everybody's story is, of course, different. Personally, when I started TRT at 25, I discovered Pornhub, but that is a story for a different time. Alright guys, I hope the video was insightful. Leave me a comment, kindly do the YouTube things, like, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Uranus out.